Hey there, podcast listeners. This is Editor Jay here. Just chiming in to say this is gonna be a weird episode because I forgot to change the input device in Adobe Audition before we started recording this episode. So you get to hear the soothing sounds of Bree and I talking through a webcam microphone for this episode. I hope you all enjoy.
Yeah, somebody posted that in reaction to the anime awards. Did you know the anime awards happened last night at 4 or 3 a.m.? You know, a normal time that human beings are up.
Wait, really?
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Because here's the secret. The anime awards are actually just PR for Japan.
I mean,
they hosted in Japan, even though they make a big deal about, vote for the anime awards. Oh, by the way, when we do the anime awards, none of you fuckers are gonna be awake.
So wait, they boasted about it being hosted, and then we all got toasted? I feel roasted.
I'm sorry, I just saw Ziggy, swatting away Evie trying to brush him.
I could have been online and posted about being roasted by what they hosted, but I didn't.
And now I got loasted.
That's not a word. At the very least, Bree was saying actual words. Toasty, 3D.
Did you post? No, most did. But
you don't have to roast my toast.
I'm stopping the recording.
No.
God damn it, if only I could reach hosted.
Do you think when...
Oh, man, don't do that.
Do you think when Post Malone makes his, egg and toast in the morning and it pops up, is he like, Toast Malone, woo! And his wife is just like, ugh.
That's what Ric Flair does in the throes of his mind slowly eroding.
Yeah. He says it to himself.
Takes a bump of cocaine in the morning, pops some bread in the toaster, and then says, Toast Malone! Woo! Stop
this
dropping!
Doesn't work!
you dropping soundboard clips does not translate to
none of what we said in the past 5 minutes is usable at all. Jay's gonna have to cut all of it.
No, Bridget, you actually need to stop doing that. Stop.
Unless you are recording those two, you can't do that.
That's the thing. I can't even reference which sounds you're pulling up, because when I play it back, those sounds aren't going to be playing.
Soundboard.
Also, all of this is staying in, Evie, just so you know. I'm not 100%. Taking any of this out.
Also, solo leveling won basically every award in the anime awards. Oh, by the way, did you know that solo leveling is co-funded by Crunchyroll, and also, the hosts of the award show.
Wait a minute, what one again, you said?
Solo leveling. It's a shitty male power fantasy.
Yeah.
So that entire genre is just coasted?
Coasty!
Get me out! Let me out! Get me out of here! I can't be here anymore.
I need to put more energy shit into my drink, because I can't deal with this right now.
What reviews connected by cast or crew, deciding the next film, that's the gist. Put it on the list.
Oh, man.
It's all just a PR stunt, but it's just so funny, it's blatant. It's like, you're not even gonna air the award show, in a time your audience would be up. You're just gonna, just dump it unceremoniously, be like, hey, Japanese partners, check out...
Hey, it's okay, because all award shows are basically bullshit anyways.
Yeah.
It don't matter.
Oh,
no,
I know it doesn't matter.
Anyone on any format actually is real.
I know it doesn't matter. However, there's normally at least a pretending that it matters.
I mean, there is a pretending that it matters in, the voting process for them. Because they get, important voices in the anime business or
like
on
Jeb
social
Anime
media.
and Splatoon.
I mean, there's other like prominent people like Mother's Basement or whatnot, but like, and then they can tell
know more
people
than
to vote
me.
on. I mean, I just occasionally watch that guy's stuff. I don't have much of a strong opinion on him. But yeah, it's that is the pretense, is that there are people with opinions that some people on the internet trust, and those are the people who are voting on what qualifies as the best anime of the year. And
and it's okay to be wrong,
in the same way that the Academy votes on what the best movies are of the year.
I guess, however, it's a little bit different because the Academy isn't funding the exact show winning every category.
Well, yeah, I'm not saying it's a 1-to-1 there. I'm simply saying,
and also
that
it would be like if the Academy, instead of hosting the award show at a time people watched, was in some random.
Well, again, I'm not saying it's a perfect 1-to-1. I'm just saying that all award shows are bullshit because they're decided by some, there's some pretense of like important people, voting on a thing when really it doesn't. None of this fucking matters. It's like
God's pornographic magazines. The pornographic magazines made by God.
What are you talking about?
Wounded Man.
Oh, okay. It's great.
This will be great for absolutely maybe one listener or two, if I'm lucky.
For Daryl Surratt, if he happens to listen to this podcast. Hi, everyone, and welcome to Put It on the List, the film discussion podcast where every other week we gather here to discuss a film, and then the next film in the rotation has to be connected by either cast or crew. Introduce yourself, first person in the rotation. It always happens.
The French wine.
French.
Is always
Please.
celebrated for its
How it goes.
That's Bridget, that's Evie, that's Jamie.
I'm Bridget. I'm the first member of the DK crew. I picked Pat Labor, and then the next member, you could say my Diddy Kong to be Funky Kong, is Evie, who picked the Chronicles of Riddick. Evie.
This is going to be a very sleepy episode.
Hey, Evie, the next person in the rotation, introduce yourself and explain how you feel about being compared to Diddy Kong.
I'm Evie, and I just, fucking whatever.
Well, we have here the Trixie Kong of the group.
I'm the leader of the bunch. You know me well. I'm finally back from the depths of hell. I'm Bree. How's it going? Hi, I'm here too. What's up?
What Kong am I, Jay, the last person in the rotation, comparable to?
Candy Kong.
DK? DK? Is that his name? Not DK?
Deaky Kong.
Donkey Kong?
Is
that what you're thinking?
Deaky Kong?
Deaky Kong.
Is this
I'm thinking of Dinky Kong?
Yeah, the
Little berries and cream
Kong.
lab monkey man.
The Winkies Kong?
I think it's a Dinky Kong.
What is this episode is falling apart
We're all
already.
half asleep, okay? This is just gonna be like this. I'm sorry.
God. What the fuck have any of us been up to, Bree? What have you been doing for the last 2 weeks?
I'm happy to say that, my art commissions have been coming in pretty steadily. I'm
Cool.
getting a lot more work. I'm feeling good doing that.
Awesome.
Just working on illustrations, just doing stuff, self-promoting, having fun, doing my art thing. How the hell are you, Jay?
Me? I mean, I kind of want to wait because I've been up to a bit of things.
Oh, for sure.
I don't know if anyone else has been up to a lot. Evie, have you been up to much the last 2 weeks?
I've been still looking for jobs and trying to move, and I hit it seems like there's a good opportunity that may be happening. We'll see. It hasn't. I can't feel good about it because it's not locked in yet, but I'm hopeful. Other than that, I don't know.
Fingers
I've been
crossed.
gaming.
For sure. Anything in particular you've been gaming with that you want to talk about?
Oh, I on the topic of board games, I went a couple of weeks ago. I was at my friend's board game night, and we played a game called Heat, which is a game where you are racing cars. And yeah, there are already a handful of games where, like, you're each playing a car and you're racing around a track. But this seems like the best one yet. It was very cool, and I was able to basically beat everyone else at the table by half a lap. It felt really good. It felt like I was Gran Turismoing the hell out of it, and it made me want to buy that game.
I was just about to say, is that why you started playing some Gran Turismo the other night?
That was a pre-existing desire to try out the A-Spec 2 hack that's been floating around for that game. I like racing games. Yeah. And
you probably know a lot more about gear shifting than I do.
That I'm not good at those kind of racing games. Anytime where you have to actually use manual transmission, I'm worthless, unfortunately.
Okay, same. I'm word. Bridget, have you been up to anything?
Evie, have you thought about playing Epic Turismo? That game seems
I watched you play it, so why the fuck would I?
I finished playing Minish Cap, and then the Game Grumps, as they usually do, immediately took the audience and said, "Hey, now we're gonna play it."
I mean, that's how the content mill works.
Yeah.
Wait,
for some reason.
Are you telling me that long-running show has somehow not played Minish Cap?
If they have, they're replaying it now, but I don't
They've
think
been busy
they have.
playing every other major Legend of Zelda game.
No, yeah,
instead.
they. I think this is actually a first for them. I'll have to watch it later and perpetuate them taking my ideas.
Yeah.
No, it's just that, like, when you run that long, it's the Simpsons theory, where it's like you're going to have played everything, and the timing just worked out where it's like, God damn it, come on.
It's fine.
It was like when Snapcube, like, immediately started playing... I think it was Control when we started playing Control. It's like, come on, we're the queer channel playing Control.
Every big YouTuber is out to get me.
Yes, exactly.
Exactly.
I matter and everyone's thinking about me constantly is what I'm trying to say. And I think that's a sound way to feel. No, it's all circumstance, but it's just kind of funny.
Aside from playing Epic Turismo, have you been up to anything else lately, Bridget?
Well, I mean, that's not what I was up to. That was a suggestion.
But well, no, you played it though, and Evie said that she watched you play it.
Well, sure.
Yeah, you played it on a stream. You were all there.
I guess I did. It had the car with the wings that couldn't move. I played through. What was it called? The one where you have to rescue cats from a ship.
Oh, Skin Deep.
Yeah, I played through Skin Deep. That's a fun little game. A little silly immersive puzzler. Still working through Doll's Nest. Other than that, I guess nothing too crazy.
I've been doing a few things. Number one, I got myself a fancy little Anbernick that you can't see with the video we have going on.
Yeah, they can't because we're audio.
What's up, Bridget?
I did remember one thing I want to bring up. Evie reminded me of it. But yesterday we played a golfing game which had the most minute calibration.
It was a very simulator golfing game.
It was like, okay, so you can't just make your golf shot. You know in golf games when you go to golf and it says, hey, just hit the meter and golf it?
Yeah.
This, you have to set in your tee in specific thing, then do your hit angle, then adjust your feet. What's your width of feet? And then
you make sure you're gripping your club correctly.
Yeah. gotta have the grip.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say that sounds like it is made by a golf pervert. Like,
oh yeah, Evie did her first swing, and because she didn't set up everything it wanted to, she just completely ate, then just missed the ball completely.
Weird. Okay. Well, but yeah. Anyways, like I was saying, I got an Anbernic, which is like a brand of like emulation machines, and I specifically got like the Game Boy SP one, so I could like take that to work with me.
It's really handy.
No, it's neat. It's a really cool thing. I love the idea of being able to actually play, older games, specifically like older mobile games on a mobile device.
Yes.
Like, I think that's the thing I've been finding because, of course, I'm playing a Pokemon. Don't worry about it. It's I don't have much to say about the Pokemon game I'm playing aside from it being mostly a nostalgia thing for me, but like it really speaks to probably a lot of what they think about when they designed those games, which is, the idea that this is something a person takes with them on the go. So like the act of grinding in and of itself is like a thing that you're essentially doing is almost like a stim toy or just something to kill time.
Yeah.
Like while like on a train or on a 10-minute break or something like that. And it weirdly complements like that super well. It's a thing that I did not consider as a child because I was a child and I wasn't thinking about, my free time all that much. But it is a nice experience to have to like just pluck away a little bit of Pokemon and then come back to it later.
I've similarly been enjoying playing through Mystic Quest on there because like that is a similar game to like if you're just sitting down trying to have a gaming experience, it's the most monotonous thing in the world. But it's great to kind of like progress through it over time as you just need something to do.
Yeah.
And it's really great for that. And that one's, this gets into I love the SNES emulation on there. For me, that's my big thing. And like, those weren't mobile, but they were a lot more kind of like, a little more grindy, some of them. And some of them, it's like, I like to get to this a little bit at a time. And when I have the time, I want to do something on a device that isn't going to bother me with anything else. I miss that. I'm definitely of the generation that's thinking of buying like one of those new iPods because, I don't like the internet anymore. And I'm like, can I just have my media and just sit in a corner and be alone with it? It's really nice having that and getting to replay those games in an easier to like, I don't have to set up an emulator and sit at a computer and take up everything. I can just sit in a corner and play it. And I like having my time alone with that. It makes me miss having the SP that I had before, but now we have it, essentially. We can play whatever game we want.
Yeah. What's up, Bridget?
Oh, I just wanted to say, I mean, you're not getting the real Pokemon youth experience because you're not on, like, a bus and your friend for some reason, just has a billion Mews, even though you can't get any, and they're like, and then you pull out they got their link cable and be like, hey, everyone, I got Mews for days.
I was going to say,
if you pay me $5, I will trade you a Mew.
You pull out your link cable, they're like, I don't know, I've only got like 50 Mews. I mean, I need these. I mean, I don't know if I can trade them or whatever.
Blessed be the middle school grifter.
Yeah.
That like just early on like had access to like one little tool that put them above like the rest of the kids. Like the kid who would burn CDs for you at school. You would I don't know if anyone else has this experience, but there's literally a kid on my bus who would be like, give me a list of songs and I will burn you a CD of those songs.
I definitely knew
and it would be
person.
like $10.
I was that person,
like
but
that.
I wasn't selling them. I was just burning my own discs. So I'm like,
also, if you paid $5 for those Mews were fucked. They would fuck your game. Like, and you learned an important lesson.
And if you didn't, then these kids who did eventually just become online grifters are still grifting you.
Yeah. Anyway, so I've been up to that. Last weekend, I went to like a local like screening at my at a theater around the corner from us that was like an OVA festival where they showed a bunch of like old anime. OVA stands for original video animation.
As was the fashion at the time.
And basically it was just like direct to tape like anime shorts, films.
Yeah,
episodes.
direct to tape video. Normally, because you can just get away, it's not restricted by TV standards.
Yeah, so like you could say like
it meant a lot more Ryoko titties.
I was gonna say more so it led to a lot of like discussion around like video nasties and things like that, where it's like, oh, this is corrupting the youth.
Also Tenchi started out as an OVA, so
well, that's what she's saying.
Yeah,
but yeah, so that was a fun little event, and the main thing I've been up to lately is I've been playing through the 100 Line Last Defense Academy, which that game's pretty good. I'm a bit biased because I like the things that the Danganronpa guy does, but that game is pretty good.
But Jay, it's not just the Danganronpa guy. It has the devil's mix of the games Bree likes.
Yeah, it's Uchikoshi and Kodaka working together, which
means I'm gonna have to play it at some point.
I still haven't gotten to the point. So apparently this game has like 100 endings to it. I believe Evie said that people have reported this game has more words in it than all of Umineko does. And currently I'm only 30 hours in and haven't even gotten through like the titular like 100 line that the game is kind of based around, and I'm just like waiting for the shoe to drop when you see like the fucking grid of like 100 different branching paths. Like it is wild to consider. Well, it's not that wild to consider, but it's crazy just how much they have put into this game. But when you consider that it was basically a gamble for this company, where it's like I literally watched a documentary, which was more of just an interview with the guys, where they said like, no, yeah, we took out like a major fucking loan to make this game.
Like their games were doing okay, but they're like, we want to make this, and so we're just gonna take a big ass loan and hope it works.
God, that's intense.
And thankfully, I imagine it's been working out for them, because that game's been pretty well received for the most part by people.
Everyone is as obsessed with the insane girl as I am, you know.
Oh yeah, you mean Junko?
On that Rule 34. Yep.
I wish she were Junko Enoshima. She is no Junko Enoshima.
She wishes she was Junko Enoshima.
The tactics part of the game is really fun. It feels more like a puzzle game at times, because like the units that you have like specific like multi-grid patterns to their attack. So it's more about like positioning them so that you're like hitting as many enemies as possible in a thing. And there's certain enemies that when you beat them, you can get extra moves. So you can kind of just perpetually keep a turn going if you're planning your shit out well enough.
Oh, so like a press turn mechanic, effectively, for tactics?
I don't know what press turn means, but I will take your word.
You play Persona, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You basically get another action by doing, you know...
It is very much a like kind of press turn mechanic to it. Yeah.
From what I've seen of it, it makes me think the influence of like Into the Breach is being felt a whole lot, and I think that's like where like the puzzle feeling of it kind of comes in, because that's very Into the Breach
for sure. What else was I gonna say? But yeah, there's a lot of good battle mechanics that just like feed into it. Like there's like essentially a super meter where like as you get more super meter, you can like activate certain abilities in your team, like counter strike or an early strike, which is basically an Overwatch thing, where as soon as an enemy like enters an area around one of your dudes, they will automatically attack the game encourages you to let your units die in the middle of things because they will respawn through waves of fights. So, like, literally, if they die, you get more of that super meter that I was just mentioning. So it all feels really good in those regards, which makes sense when you consider the story, which is very blatantly about how easily authoritative powers can, like, rally people behind, like, militaristic nationalist rhetoric and, like, enact xenophobic violence on the world out of, like, some perverted idea of defense. Like, each time you beat, like, a big boss in the game, you go through this thing. And the same way that, like, Danganronpa has, like, the executions that you do, you have a thing where, like, everyone, like, gathers ominously around the commander, which is, like, the boss enemy, and you see, like, a POV shot of the commander looking up at them. Like, the sky is, like, blood red around them, and to, like, you essentially have to pick which character you want to finish off this.
It's afraid!
Yeah, essentially. It is essentially a Starship Troopers, like, they grab a knife, stab it into, like, the guy's chest, and it's, like, raining blood, and the big message appears that just says, "Extermination complete." Like, are we the baddies? We might be the baddies here. So that game's pretty good. It was weird bringing that game up on a stream that I was on recently, and one random person in the audience immediately writing it off because they think the Danganronpa guy is cynical and controversial, though. I mostly I don't want to dig too deep into it because that person is free to think whatever they want, but
I mean, they're not wrong, but, like, I feel like this one has something else going on.
The thing is, I think they are wrong, though, because I think Kodaka is very much not a cynical writer. Like, if you look at Danganronpa, like, the whole point of that game is the struggle between hope and despair. And hope wins.
if you looked at it from afar, you might think that. Like, if you didn't.
Well, yeah, that's kind of the rub of it, and why it kind of, like, stuck in my craw a little bit. Where it's like, do you actually think this, or is this just, like, what your perception of this thing from afar has been?
Yeah, I guess you mentioned, like, in the last one too, that, like, there's this whole, like, rehabilitation concept of just, like, yeah, no, like, you need to learn sympathy.
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, I guess so.
What were you gonna say?
I just find his games upsetting, and I wish he was less transphobic. But...
Well, he's bad at writing queer characters.
Yeah.
Lest we go back to the queer baiting, getting queer baited by the Danganronpa guy is like getting beaten by a dog who's at chess, but the dog has practiced its entire life to play chess, and you have no idea how to play that game.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead, Evie.
The idea is that just like, I don't want to play that guy's stuff. He's controversial. Just like, what? Do you only play or experience media that is, I mean, like, it's a tossed off remark in a streaming chat room. So, like, who knows what that person actually meant?
In a streaming chat room where, like, the fucking water horse is being played.
Yeah, but it's just like, it's such a weird, like, criteria to kind of, like, dismiss work out of hand from.
Yeah,
it's a controversial platform. Let me tell you something about the people who run Twitch. Yeah. Let me tell you something about every company that makes anything ever. I mean, that, like, an art is supposed to be, like...
I think that's the ultimate thing of why I wanted to bring it up, because I feel like on a movie discussion podcast where, like, kind of the whole point is, like, approaching things that maybe we wouldn't just naturally go into, and kind of, like, taking it as what it is.
Sure.
It's you
and that's why I forced you all to watch G-Reco part one.
You gotta approach art with open arms, and try to figure out what's up with it.
Why are you doing 9/11?
A visual joke that does not translate. Anyways. Let's move on. We basically did not get any icebreaker questions, which is why I felt okay just kind of stretching out the 100-line discussion as much as I could there.
Well, you see, what questions could you possibly ask from this tapestry?
Before we get into it, we do have one email here from Owen. Thank you for the email, Owen. You can contact us anywhere on the internet. Put it on the list.bsky.social, whitecitygaming@gmail.com. Comment on our YouTube videos over at White City Productions on youtube.com as Bridget plays with her little woodcock plushie.
You can't just say that on stream. She plays with her little woodcock. On
one, this isn't a stream. Two,
Boss baby vibes.
Two, why are you always thinking about penises and cum?
I don't know. You tell me, girlfriend.
You know, you could use any of its other names, like the Timber Doodle, the Hoke and Poke.
Yeah, you're the one who picked woodcock.
That's the only... I've never heard of any of the terms that Evie just used.
He has told you those terms before. I know for a fact.
Has she?
I love that birds, ornithological creatures have scientific names like the big-breasted dick cock shover booby. And it's like, all right, cool. I'm just going to not cackle at this in my school textbook while we're reading. That's
Next
fine.
you're going to say that the Southern Screamer is not a scientific name.
No, the Southern Screamer was the guy on the street who woke me up this morning.
Anyways, the email from Owen. The Hatoful boyfriend birds are all doves. The bird I sent is clearly a blackbird. It's cropped from a photo I took. Also, sorry, Bree, but no one could search for the James Varney gif because I made it myself. It has not yet been unleashed on the public. I do not know the source of the pink cat. And attaches a MP3 of When Doves Cry live by
Beautiful. Prince. The live version, nonetheless.
Okay. Evie.
Thank you for the email, Owen.
So, last time on Put on the List, we discussed Pat Labor 2, which was a fantastic film, picked out by Bridget. And then Evie connected us over to the Chronicles of Riddick, 2004's David Twohy film. Evie, take us through a cursory summary of what the Chronicles of Riddick is.
Yeah, the Chronicles of Riddick. It's a 2004 blockbuster, I guess. I guess that was the intent. It's post Star Wars sequel or prequel trilogy. Or it was clearly made after the Phantom Menace, and it's like roughly contemporary with Attack of the Clones, a little bit before Revenge of the Sith, and it's just like it's very they're clearly trying to chomp that Star Wars flavor.
I just want to say quite quickly, you said a blockbuster film. The production, to go off of Wikipedia here, the production budget for the Chronicles of Riddick was reported to have been between $105 million to $120. The film grossed $57 million in North America.
That sounds right.
A financial disappointment.
Oh yeah,
it's very strange.
I can't imagine why.
What were you guys saying?
Yeah, it's a sequel to the film Pitch Black, which is a very different movie, starring the same central character, Richard B. Riddick, as played by Vin Diesel.
The motherfucker's name is Richard.
Richard B. Riddick.
He be Riddick.
He be Riddick.
He be ridiculous.
Yeah, and this. And in addition to watching the movie, Bridget and I watched the OVA, the direct-to-DVD animated prequel short, The Chronicles of Riddick: Dark Fate.
her neck long.
Yeah, she
Dark
neck
Fury.
big.
By
Fury, excuse me.
acclaimed animator and director Peter Chung.
Peter
This
Chung.
is not a discussion about Chronicles of Riddick, Dark Fury.
Hold on. There's a reason
it
why.
ties in.
Yes, because it actually does the work of like connecting Pitch Black and the Chronicles of Riddick, because Keith David, who is in all three works, his character is contiguous throughout all three. And there's another character that we're going to talk about in the Chronicles of Riddick proper, called Jack/Kyra, who is like a teenage boy in Pitch Black, and in Dark Fury.
Turns out she's a lady.
Yeah, well, that was just weirdly
the
that's
first trans
discovered in
narrative
Pitch
to
Black.
really hit the
That's discovered in Pitch Black because this is a tangent. It's discovered that Jack is not a boy, or it's we're all trans people here. We understand the ambiguity of play.
Judith Butler smiling from the sidelines.
Judith Butler smiles from above. Like the monsters that they're hiding from in Pitch Black get fucking attracted to where they are by her period blood.
This whole episode is going to be a fucking tangent. You want to know how I know this? Because the first note I have for this movie is simply Karl Urban's hair.
Oh, yeah.
It's the first note I have. I'll let you continue.
Yeah, we're going to get to that. Oh, are we ever? The film is like, it's some years after Pitch Black, and it's supposed to be sort of like it's weird because like it's clearly like acknowledging that movie happened, but also trying to run away from it as quickly as possible so that they can do like this other like
space opera
space opera type thing where it's clear that they want to like make a damn franchise out of this thing.
How successful it is at making itself a franchise.
Well, with the power of hindsight, we can determine they were not successful at all.
They were not cooking.
What do you mean, though? They put out another film in the Riddick series
9 years later,
and they're still making another one right now, which should be a massive 12 years after the other one.
It does appear like I took a cursory glance at the follow-up film 2013's Riddick with the eye of like maybe we'll watch that at some point, and it really does seem like they try to run away from a lot of the stuff in this film. Can't imagine why.
But much like the character of Riddick, the Riddick franchise seems to constantly be running away from its past,
its own self.
Oh my god!
Like, I want to keep this property. I'm not going to license another, but I got to change everything about it. My god.
Where do we actually start with this, Evie?
Can we talk about how it opens up with like the getting chased by the gunship with the worst fucking gun
Oh
setup?
my god!
I mean, let me recite one of my notes. The ship that is chasing we're soon to find out Riddick, where we have him in his terrible long mountain man beard. Two snipers on the airship hanging from what looks like random straps that seem haphazardly tied to the wings, which is horrible for aim and easy to cut them off and probably have them clanking against the side of the ship. In this futuristic world, they can't have unmanned side-mounted guns? Are you shitting me? There's just people hanging there, like, ow.
Brie, you don't even have to do that. You could just have the dudes, like, poking out the side of the thing.
If you even need to do that, yeah, if it even needs to be manned. But
Like,
they're just hanging from it. Doesn't even look like it's meant to be there.
Like, do you know what a gunner seat is?
Yeah,
Actual
like-
military equipment has those things.
They didn't do any research. It was just these guys hanging from what looks like the cheap straps of like a Doll's Kill outfit, trying to like swing around like ow against like the side of the. We just kept making jokes about how much they were probably bonking against the ship.
Well,
It's like,
we say that because specifically, like, Riddick runs into, like, a gorge of some kind, like, really narrow, tight space, and the ship that they're flying in, like, goes into there, and you can see the guys swinging from the side of the wings, and it's just, like, they're all, like, getting CTE,
Like they're just like in a hammer. They're in like hammocks. Like it's weird.
Yeah, it's not. Not an effective way to aim. That's not how being a sniper works.
They don't even have turrets or anything. They're just holding fucking guns. Like, they're being chased specifically by a guy introduced in the titular OVA, Dark Fury.
Tombs. Oh my god!
But yeah, like something that's
the worst sideburns of all time.
Truly, that guy looks—he's such a chump.
Hey,
anyway,
there's another character who has worst hair, and we'll get to him.
Oh yeah, we'll get to Skullet Man.
But like something that is just like we could. Just to spare us from like thinking about every individual bad decision that's made about it. This movie is just like this movie is full of things that are just. It's just like top to bottom. Just
that was a choice.
Every decision is just like the dumber one, where it's
necromancer,
necromongers.
There's like
a necromonger.
If there's like an aesthetic through line or just like a conceptual through line through this entire thing, it's that it's just junior high dirtbag notebook full of cool ideas.
Yeah,
just like
this was a question I was going to posit, which is there a worse dichotomy to see in action than an action movie that thinks it's cool but is maybe one of the most uncool things you have ever seen? Like, I don't know that there is.
I feel like there are worse dichotomies because this is at least very funny because
that is fair. It's a bad movie in a very entertaining way. So like we'll give it that.
I guess.
The idea that when you have these like this had to have been that like someone's self-insert story that like he never when he had the adulthood and the money and the time to make this a production, didn't go over it and go, should I just get all the disgusting, dumb grade school ick out of this and write a good story around it and piece it together? No, it's fine. I spent all this time writing it. It's probably good. That's how it feels.
Well,
it's
someone's self-insert. I'll tell you whose self-insert it is. Diesel.
This is the thing I was going to say. Like, Vin Diesel is such a fascinating character in Hollywood because he's maybe the most prominent example of massive fucking dork who somehow ended up in the body of an action movie guy outside of professional wrestling. Like,
that's fair.
The only other person I could think of who's, like, close to that is, like, Michael B. Jordan. But that dude at least has, like, a level of self-control to, like, only indulge with nerdy shit as, like, inspiration for stuff. As opposed to Diesel, who, like, you look at the Fast and the Furious franchise, you look at Riddick, you look at The Last Witch Hunter, and these are all, like, literally just him kind of making these weird, like, tabletop role-playing sessions for these ideas that he has.
Well, hold on. I was thinking about this, and I wonder if this, like, we cannot put this all on Vin. I think because the Pitch Black, the Chronicles of Riddick, and like the surrounding ephemera, like it shares a director and it shares writers. So like, in the form of David Twooey as the director and Ken and Jim Wheat as the writers.
A key difference between this and Pitch Black is Vin Diesel is a producer on this one.
Yep. That's where it is. That's the difference.
Yep. There it is.
In between Pitch Black and the Chronicles of Riddick, Vin Diesel becomes Vin Diesel. Like, and the world is never the same.
Yeah, like in there is when you have. I feel like the timeline is correct. That like somewhere in that interim is where you have like he was supposed to be in like oh god, what was that like Ben Affleck movie where like he was.
Boiler Room.
Yeah, where Vin Diesel was like originally cast.
He was either Boiler Room or Reindeer Games. I can't remember.
It was Reindeer Games. But yeah, Vin Diesel was supposed to like play some kind of like big buff goon or something like that in that movie. But the director was saying like, you need to have your shirt off for this scene. And Vin Diesel is like, nah, I only do that for Vin Diesel movies.
Okay.
And he got fucking fired for it. It's just like that's the kind of shit I'm talking about. Like you can understand, like you look at that and you look down the line at like him and The Rock getting into a fight,
take measuring contest on the set of the Fast and Furious movies.
Yeah, and it makes total sense. Like Vin Diesel would have absolutely been a wrestling guy if he'd like made one or two key different decisions in his life. Like it's like, so weird.
The Rock, like he hasn't had that many opportunities. He has like the spin-off Scorpion King movie, and then he had Black Adam.
Oh man, we cannot get distracted talking about Dwayne. We're talking about a different bald guy. We're talking about Vin.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll have an opportunity to talk about Dwayne Johnson.
What do you have, Free?
There's something that is prominent throughout this entire film that I feel like we really, like, it's always on the surface. We need to talk about it.
Okay.
Northern European geometry books have less Dutch angles than this film.
Oh my god.
Everything. Many of the scenes in this just feel like you're on a rocking sailor ship upon the stormy seas.
I mean,
it's shot from the point of view of the ship snipers, really, just swinging around like it's this way, it's that way. It's like
the cinematography is so bad.
It's really, really bad.
Like
Dutch angles, cruise control for cinematography.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it's literally like for the people who are not aware, which I would hope that anyone that watches a lot of movies would be aware of this, but
we don't judge.
The Dutch angle as a tool of cinematic language is used to mess with your sense of balance and communicate like unease and tension to an audience. This movie uses them so regularly that it just becomes the normal and thus renders the effect completely useless. Like it
makes the whole thing disjointed and hard to follow.
I will say, you know, we haven't gotten to it yet, but there is one movie I can think of that uses the Dutch angle even worse than this movie.
It's Battlefield Earth. I know that.
I would have given this movie 3 stars, except it's 2 stars because the beginning portion of this movie after the snow part, I can't watch it. Like literally, cannot. Actually watch the movie.
How do we convey action and gunfire? Good choreography? No. Strobe lights.
Okay.
The most not only obvious strobe lights making the effect, but so used throughout so many scenes consistently that it becomes unwatchable to anyone with epilepsy.
Like, basically the strobing effect did not stop for like a solid...
It was giving me a headache.
10 to 20 minutes.
Yeah,
but
it's...
To describe why the strobing was happening, like, after Riddick got stole the ship from the guys that were chasing him, took it to some planet where Keith David was hanging out.
New Mecca,
thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Which leads me to talk about, like, I appreciate how much this movie pulls from, like, Middle Eastern, like, architecture, fashion, and religious diversity in, like, the New Mecca area. It's
I do like that.
It's like genuinely pretty cool that they were like trying to integrate that as like as a like sci-fi setting and something that is like, you know, like in a period of time where Islamophobia was fucking rampant. like the early 2000s were, to have a piece of media like kind of humanizing it in this way and be like, no, these are fucking normal people living their normal ass lives.
That was admirable.
Like
I wish
that's
they'd done a better
cool.
job with it, because that's a good message, especially in that time.
Yeah,
But like, sorry, go ahead.
it's interesting how that is also like part of the through line with Pitch Black, because Keith David's whole thing is that he is like he was taking like a trio of like pilgrims to New Mecca, like for a pilgrimage, and like it says that Imam is his nickname, but like that's also like just like the like a religious title. So I wonder if like he's actually supposed to be an imam or if that's just his name.
But like the whole New Mecca sequence, if it weren't for the strobing lights, would probably be my favorite part of the movie, because it feels very evocative of like shock and awe tactics done by the US during like the occupation of the Middle East in the early like to mid 2000s. Like literally the whole reason there's those strobing effects, like you get shots of like the skyline of New Mecca as the necromongers are landing, and it's just literally like the ballistic like surface to air missiles that like the US was like constantly firing off during that time frame. Yeah.
Can you tell me what a necromonger is?
It's someone who sells.
Can I finish my
death
point
by
then,
weight.
and then we can talk about
sure.
it.
Sure.
But like, yeah, that's the reason there's constant strobing, because yeah, when that kind of like artillery fire is happening, yes, that kind of strobing light shit is going to be happening a lot. But the necromongers are a death cult. They worship death. They want to convert like all people to their death cult. Like the leader like fucking walks up and Shang Tsung's a guy because the guy's like, no, we're a religiously diverse community. We will not bow down to you. And he's just like, your soul is mine.
Shang Tsung's out of his soul, like, ah!
Well, specifically, he is living, but also has his soul, like dead soul, separated, so he can like turn. He can like literally see in the back of his head.
He can see his own soul being ripped out of his body.
I'm going to trade this for Pogs. Look, it's Elf. He's back in Pog form.
But yeah, mostly the point I was trying to make there is just like, it's genuinely interesting for a thematic connection between our movies to go from a movie like Pat Labor 2, which is about the US occupation of East Asia, to Chronicles of Riddick, which is a movie that at times seems to be about the US occupation of the Middle East.
I also need to point out that like his outfit just and everything about how he operates screams, we thought that The Matrix was really cool.
Well, I mean,
I know that it was the influence on everything of its time, but this man, I feel like the reason he has black goggles on is because they went, you can't do sunglasses and the cloak. They already did it. What if they're goggle sunglasses? Fine, whatever.
There's so many goggles in this movie.
I love how he drops one-liners that have no weight and mumbles them, too.
Well,
It's
that's
an
just...
animal thing.
Dust my dick.
Dust my dick.
Like, there's so
I
many...
bow to no man.
There's so many bad... Like, this goes into the thing I was talking about
I'm
like,
Neo Matrix.
how uncool this movie is, despite thinking it's deeply cool. You get to some of those one-liners, and they are the worst.
Did you know you grind your teeth when you sleep? Sexy.
What?
That's after the lady was gonna like fuck him while he was sleeping. Or,
yes.
Yeah,
these
are all choices.
Why was that happening?
Yeah,
because she's
really
among the mercenaries that had captured him, and she's a fucking freak.
We need to talk about, like, when you decide on the name of your bad guys, you need to say it out loud and make sure it doesn't sound goofy. You could have called the Deathmongers the free-roaming monkey gropers and had just about as much severity to it. I just, what do you mean? Like the death mongers are coming. Scoopy-doopy-doo, the berries and cream lads.
The underverse. Like, what the thing, Bree, that you're alluding to that I was trying to say, like, while we were watching it, is just like, whenever you're constructing any kind of like sci-fi, fantasy, like universe, you need to say your terminology like out loud.
Yeah.
To make sure it doesn't sound like goober talk.
Yeah.
Like that's what necromongers and the underverse sounds like. You say it out loud and you're like, oh, this sounds so fucking dorky.
Dude, get out of here, you necromonger. Shut up.
During the scene where, like, the fucking, voice of mouth of Sauron kind of guy is, like, talking to all those people in New Mecca, and he just, like, is constantly shortening universe to verse, and it was just, like, it was like nails on a chalkboard to me. I hated it so much.
That's what I was saying about, like, the dichotomy of this movie thinking it's so cool, but being so deeply uncool. Like, there's a lot of this movie that's really funny to watch, but, like, when it's taking its lore seriously like that, it is some of the hardest shit to watch, where you're just like, oh my god, I cannot sit here throughout all of this.
I also love all of the composited scenes. You first really notice it when the guard falls down the stairs and it's at like a different frame rate than all the people in the background, and it just feels so put on the foreground. It's also there's also just the argument of like, so much of this is CG, and it has the same problem in that era that animation with CG had, where it's like when you're trying to implement this into anime, when you're trying to implement this into the real world, it exists on a different plane, and making those blend was not figured out yet. It was not there. But as they were watching the animated thing, I was watching them watch the animated movie over on the little window on Discord. You can see that they also have bad CG in the cartoon. So it's like, that's good. That's good. It's consistent.
The thing with animation specifically, the problem always ends up being that's more a matter of frame rate more than anything. Like, Anime World Order has talked about it a lot during their discussions. But, like, what's the... Bridget, you probably know the exact, like, technical explanation where it's like anime is specifically animated like on the like it's not on the ones, it's the one of them is like animated on the ones and the other is not animated on the ones, and they try to slap it together.
Animation's definitely not animated on the ones. If it is, it looks super fucking weird and unnatural.
Is it CG that's animated on the ones then that I'm thinking of? Probably?
Yeah, pretty much, because you don't have to do tweening between them.
But yeah, that ends up being the problem is with, at the very least with Dark Fury, is, they're trying to mash these things up when one is definitely not done on the ones and the other is definitely done on the ones. So
no one will notice if he does enough blade poses and does knife fushigi. No one's gonna notice.
Oh my god, the knife fushigi! I forgot about that. Like,
it's so good because it's so bad.
Oh man,
Riddick.
I mean,
the thing is, Riddick is effectively is truly just a main character. Vin Diesel just wants him.
It's main character syndrome.
Yeah, he's the best killer ever. He can do basically almost anything. He can kill almost anything. He's a badass who doesn't play by the rules. In Badass who doesn't play by the rules.
He's so cool that the weird cat armadillos want to be his friend.
He's just got the ability
it's an animal thing.
Yeah, he can just look into its eyes.
Was that like the CG, not the CG, was that the like portion that was added that make this like, because we found out we were watching the director's cut that made this like longer. Was that the 15 to 20 minutes that they left in, or like what?
I gotta imagine that the prison stuff is a lot of what's like.
Because it seems mostly unimportant for how long it goes on.
Yeah, like, I would be interested to like find out what parts exactly were added in the director's cut.
The Furion lady that he talks to through like a portal or whatever, like she's noted as only being in the director's cut, so all that stuff is at least part of it.
So more of the lore side of it is what's added in there, which, I mean, to be fair, if you were watching like the non-director's cut and suddenly like this lady like talking to Vin Diesel through a portal and he's like doing spirit blasts to get all of the guards off of him towards the end of this movie, and you see that with no context beforehand, I imagine you would be like, what the fuck is happening right now? Why any of this? But I don't know, the key things about the CG I want to point out. My favorite use is still when Kira is getting loaded into First of all, the jail planet that they go to in this movie is called Crematoria because it's the hottest
it's constantly
planet
on fire.
Yeah. But she's getting loaded into a cage, and as she is, like, the guards pass by this one cage, and, like, CG monster arm, like...
Oh, yeah,
God,
like she's like it's in the foreground.
Yeah, you went to the high school haunted house, and they have, like, a little monster arm come out, like...
It couldn't look more drawn on the cell.
Like that,
did. Like,
that is the most egregious example to me of CG in the movie. Elemental Judy Dench. Can we talk about the fact that this movie has fucking Dame Judy Dench in it?
Let's talk about
what?
And she's like barely related to the plot somehow.
I'm an elemental. She's like, I can push you down. Remember when they kidnap her and try to push her down? She's like, I can't fly, but I can float.
I can glide.
Yeah,
like, glide pretty well.
Like, they try to cut her in half, and she's like, I'm a fucking wind elemental. Why do you think that would work on me? Also, how did they get, like, chains on her? Didn't she have, like, handcuffs or something on her, too?
They had wind chains. I don't know.
It doesn't matter.
Which sounds like something you need to collect in a Zelda game.
PS1 cutscene spaceships bumping into each other midair.
100%.
That's pretty good. Riddick's soul getting pulled out of his body. That's good CG.
Oh, that's fun.
Again, the weird cat armadillos, which are kind of cool. It's just, putting them together with the live action just it does not mesh well.
Another thing that happens in the jail is like the fully clothed shower. I'm talking like goggles, pants, and shoes. What's going on with that? Like,
Vin Diesel, this was your movie. That was the perfect opportunity to take off your shirt.
You could have taken off your shirt.
You could have taken off your shirt.
That it would have made perfect sense. And
he's like, I don't own the IP, so not taking my shirt off.
Do you know what they do to guys in space prison?
But yeah, like as far as like all the CG and digital effects stuff, like it's clear that this is like we're like peak like digital filmmaking like renaissance happening, right? Like this is where the Lord of the Rings movies are still are like have just finished coming out. The Matrix is happening.
It's still reverberating through life.
Yeah. This was around Blade too, right?
No, Blade was 97.
Yeah, 97, okay. 98, something like that.
But it definitely took some like inspiration from that film.
Well, kind of. I mean, I would say that
the blade poses he does before he spins it around.
I would say that stuff is less endemic specifically of Blade and more specifically of like raver culture at the time.
I guess.
Like in the same way that like The Matrix itself is like people dressing in fucking like trench coats and like all black and shit. Like
no, that was a vibe too. I
like that was very much a counterculture like 90s like just fashion was that, and because
before
of
a couple of
Matrix.
school kids ruined it, it looked pretty badass.
Before the Matrix came out and made it just the fashion
Yeah.
for action movies for a set period of time.
Sure.
But anyways, what was the point that we were making there? I forgot.
Digital filmmaking.
Digital
Yeah.
filmmaking. Thank you, Evie.
And like this is like before we hit the current final form of digital filmmaking, where it's just like everyone is just in a green screened dome that is there to emulate basically all aspects of reality, and it's more just like you're doing stuff on a green screen that they're going to composite stuff into, and like so there's still like that element of like, you know, it's still a relatively new thing that people are acting against, and so stuff looks kind of weird in a different way that it looks weird now.
It's kind of the inverse, yeah, as you were saying. Like, when you take these, like, artificially shot outside things into other things, it becomes the opposite of, like, just shooting real things in front of nothing. It has that same feeling of disjointedness. And it's weird that it kind of has come full circle in that regard.
Well, another part of it, at the very least specifically of, like, this movie's era, is, like, they also didn't know how to shoot on green screens. Like,
Yeah.
that's how you get, like, the problem that, like, Attack of the Clones had, where, like, there's so much green screen shit in that, but everything is so flatly lit.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, that's literally the only way they could get, like, the green screen footage to, like, work, is by having that flat lighting to everything. So it all just looks the same, regardless of, like, what scene you're in at this moment. So this movie kind of falls into similar things, I would say, during its, you know, more green screen heavy.
Something I wanted to dig into was after various dumb gizmos were shown, I asked out loud, was this movie meant to sell toys or something? And
Oh, yeah!
You
Yes.
said you immediately looked it up, and we have some toys, yeah? Could you,
Okay.
If you still have the tab, can you describe some of these?
Let me pull it up. Y'all vamp for a while.
Okay, I have the box office for the box office weekend. What do you think aired
Where do I think it...
with...
We are now stealing...
Gimmick infringement.
we're now-
Gimmick infringement.
Yeah, gimmick infringement. Blank Check does this. It's
I
box
don't know
office
them. I came up with it just on the spot.
Well,
That's
yeah.
probably
Okay.
like the least.
We
but,
can't make a game
continue.
out of it.
No, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can... So what was the question? Is it where do I think this placed, or what do I think were the top grossing movies?
I guess the how about the top 10 movies of the weekend?
I don't fucking know. I don't have a Griffin Newman brain.
I mean, what do you think released with it?
I don't know.
Okay, I'll
That's the
just
thing.
say. Number 1 was a Harry Potter.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Number 2 was Riddick.
like
number-
in the rankings, it was number 2.
Yeah, for the weekend at the very least. Definitely not total gross.
No,
The two
as we discussed.
surrounding movies did a far better, which is Harry Potter, and then number 3, Shrek 2.
Did you just bring that up so you could mention that this released the same weekend as Shrek 2?
No, because number 4 is Garfield the movie. I did it so I could say Shrek 2 and Garfield the movie.
She's got you there.
Of course.
And then after that, it's Stepford Wives and The Day After Tomorrow.
Oh, remember when they did a remake of the Stepford Wives? God. Anyway, so yeah, like there is there were toys released at the time, but it's mostly just action figures, you know. If we want to take a look at screen here.
Yep,
That's
there's Kira.
Okay.
Oh,
That is that's a face.
Mm.
That is we tried to paint a woman's face onto a G.I. Joe. Okay. We have
There's
we have
like
many-
the little
Oh,
Predator guys.
Yeah.
Predator
I
face.
hate-
You
can
mean
we talk-
the Lenzen Necro?
Oh,
Yeah,
that thing
let's-
definitely has a fucking, like, little, what do you call those, hologram in it? Like a little, probably, like, shiny face. Yeah. I love it.
The lensing necro.
Oh, man, the noseless fellows.
Lord Marshall.
Lord Marshall.
Oh, out here looking like Colin Hanks.
There he is. There's
Oh,
Riddick.
man.
And there was also another. There was like a combo package of Riddick and like the Necro armor with like one of the pangolin tiger things.
And listen, I'm gonna be honest. That tiger figure, pretty sick.
Yeah, that's
Well,
not
like I
bad.
said,
Kinda nice,
that is a mildly cool monster design.
Yeah.
Like,
And they had a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive of just like the mooks.
nice.
I love going to the San Diego Comic-Con to get my
My
exclusive
exclusive.
Riddick necromonger.
We still haven't even really talked about what the story of this
Yeah.
movie is.
The story doesn't,
story
doesn't
is-
fucking matter.
Is
It
Riddick
really doesn't. That's the
kills
thing.
a bunch of people. He saves his friend in the jail and becomes the leader of the people who want to die.
A man with a Zeltoidian skullet somehow keeps his hair gelled in the heat of the desert.
My God.
Yeah, just
The grand reveal of Karl Urban's character. So, first of all, the Necromongers just straight up have MD Geist, like football armor.
Uh-huh.
Like that was the thing that was repeated multiple times
Voice
during
Marine.
our during our viewing of this. But one of the key figures in the Necromongers is Lord Vaco, played by Karl Urban. I'm shocked I remember that guy's name, by the way. Is Lord Vaco, who, like, he's your generic usurper. He wants to, like, kill the Lord Marshall character and become the head of the Necromongers.
well, he's reluctant about it, but his wife, Dame Vaco, played by Thandie Newton, putting her whole ass into her performance for this shit ass movie. It's incredible. MVP of the film in terms of just like putting the most effort for the least amount of results. Like,
yeah, just a great temptress character. Like, she's just mwah, in every scene she's in. But yeah, Karl Urban reveals himself taking off his football helmet, and he has the most firmly gelled fucking mullet I have ever seen in my life. Like, it's literally like held down with like Liberty Spike gel.
No, yeah, if
like,
he fell off a bike, like, he would survive. It would bounce off his head like a helmet, and he'd be fine.
But it's one of those hairstyles that the more you look at it, the worse it becomes.
Oh,
because when you first see it, your mind only registers that it looks like he has like a flat top. That's how like heavily like gelled upward his hair is. You're like,
It
oh,
takes a
he's got
second.
a weird like all shaved on the side, flat top up type hair going on, and then you notice like, wait, oh, it's a mullet.
It's
He's
a
got
braided
hair.
mullet.
Well,
Yeah.
no, that's the final step. Is
Yeah.
like you see the mullet, and you're like, oh, it's a mullet, and then he turns around, and you see like the
the
braids.
braided extensions like in his hair. It was just like, ugh.
Oh no! What was it you said, Evie, in regards to Karl Urban on this movie? You said he should have walked.
Yeah, that's right. I was just like, why did you let them do that to you, man? Like,
Which, I mean, I don't know. This is probably relatively early in his career, isn't it?
I mean, he had already been in Lord of the Rings at this point.
Oh, was he? I
After
didn't know
the
Karl
Descent.
Urban was in Lord of the Rings.
Mhm.
Oh, shit.
Wow.
Okay.
But as far as like the plot of this movie, it doesn't matter. But like, it does involve like them doing the thing of running away from all the stuff in Pitch Black. We do see Keith David's character in the beginning, but you know he dies tragically while trying to protect his family or whatever. And Jack is the weirdest thing. because they fucking fully, like, they recast the part and changed the name of the character.
It's so weird. Why?
There was they did not have to do it. Simply,
there's a plot explanation in the sense that she's like, oh, I've become a different person since I got into prison. My name is Kira now.
Like,
but it's just
whatever.
like, this is such bullshit.
I was once a man, but you're a woman.
Also, it's very funny that she just keeps, like, blades all over her, including, like, she does, like, the shit where she keeps, like, a razor blade in her cheek.
Yeah.
She kind of has the reverse 007 thing where she has, like, the spike in the back of her boots, which makes more sense than trying to kick someone with your front boot. But, like, if you need to get out of being pressed against a wall, kind of makes sense to have it in the back of the heel. That was a cool design.
Also, I need to circle back to, like, the new mecha stuff, because the guy that kills Imam, Keith David's character, for some reason, he's got, like, a knife in his back the whole time.
It's Chekhov's knife.
But why is it in his back?
So that Riddick can pull it out and stab him with it.
That Riddick can pull it out and stab him.
How did he not die from the knife being stabbed in his back if, like, if he was killed by the knife being stabbed in his front?
Stab me? Says man who was stabbed.
Yeah, local stab victim, quoted as saying.
If the knife was strong enough to, like, pierce the armor in the front, how did it not kill, like, seriously injure him being put in? I don't get it. I don't understand.
I also, that's the other thing too, like, I mean, I know this is for just, like, every movie, every action scene in gaming or movie or fantasy, you can still somehow move around and talk and fight with, like, a blade through you. I'm sorry, but if even half that damage happens to the human body, you're screaming like Tom the cat from Tom and Jerry, and you are just stuck being, like, absolutely, like, frozen with pain. You're not able to keep going, oh no, I'll still stop you. No, you're like, ah!
But Bridget brings up a fair point. What if they're technically already dead, like the necromongers are?
At one point, they talk about being promoted to dead.
Well, there's a whole thing where, like, they talk about, if you're a necromonger, when you die, you get sent to the underverse, and you get to live again there.
This just sounds like capitalism.
It's just evangelical Christianity.
Yeah, exactly. There's, like, a weird branding that they do where they just stick spikes into your neck and it gives you a weird butthole mark.
I love the anus necks. They're so great.
Yeah, there is, like, all the necromonger stuff is very much just like, what if we took H.R. Giger and just, like, turn the dial down to, like, 2 or 3.
Make it child friendly.
Well, first of all, at a certain point, Evie, during the viewing, you said, what if we made Dune marketable? And I just imagine Frank Herbert in his grave being like, LOL, LMAO, in fact. Good luck, fuckers.
Yeah, they wouldn't successfully do that for another, like, 20 or 15 to 20 years.
Yeah. But, like, what was I gonna say? Oh, remembering the necromonger, like, H.R. Giger stuff, with the part, why are they calling him a breeder? Why is in the whole midst of everything that, this movie is, like, 2 hours and 15 minutes long.
Yeah, it's
this
too long.
needed to be, like, a tight 90.
Tight 90.
But Vin Diesel refused. So early on, he gets captured by the necromongers, and, like, they, like, put him in, like, a gravity chamber thing, but for some reason he's stuck down on all fours, and they're, like, doing a mind probe, but because he's stuck down on all fours and convulsing, it just looks like he's being fucked in the ass.
It does. And there's a lot of, like, decisions. There's a lot of decisions made in the technology in this world that it's like, listen, the war map showing off the planets by, like, lifting up ferrofluid, kind of cool. The people phones, I don't know what's going on.
I think we need to go back to people phones.
Yeah.
Well, this movie is such a. I describe this movie as kind of a cosmic gumbo because there's so much shit in this movie, like in set and costume design, and like even like sci-fi elements that are like occasionally like kind of cool. You're like, oh, that's neat. But there's just these moments where like everything will completely fucking fall apart.
Oh yeah.
And
there's like there's something about the vibe of this film, particularly the necromonger stuff, that's just like, it's Dark Seed but for Christian tweens. And it's just like it's funny how much they thought they were cooking and how much they clearly were not cooking.
Oh yeah. I mean, kind of going back to the CG thing, there's the part where like Riddick got captured by the necromongers. He went through the whole breeding thing but escaped, and then like Toombs just comes back in like a spaceship and crash lands it over Riddick. That scene where that crash happens is so obviously like some kind of warehouse with set dressing like hastily slapped up that I was like, it is shocking how bad this set looks.
How did it
like,
make it into the film?
With how decent the rest of the movie looks, I saw that and was just like, how did it look this bad? And then there's also the guns. Can we talk about the guns?
Oh, I
Extremely
love Nerf
toyetic.
guns.
Oh my god!
Nerf gun central. You can see the pressing of the plastic there on the front of it. Just like, oh, it's
I don't
great.
even know if I agree. Like, they look like they're made of solid material, but the design is so comically large that it's impossible to take them seriously. Like, you see Kira, like, or no, it's not Kira.
It's one of the mercenary ladies, yeah.
Yeah, it's the mercenary lady. It's like dual wielding pistols, and it looks like she's holding like the gun from Trigun or like something
Not
like
even
that.
like some sort of like the enemies from Kingdom Hearts are holding, because it does, so it can be gun-like but not an actual gun.
Yeah, it's just weird.
And I was just going to say, that kind of leads into my argument of, like, when you make something you have to be PG-13, it becomes a kid's movie. It has to be. When you're an adult, when you're like us, like, this should be just kind of a general movie. When I'm watching this, I'm sitting here going, why is this like this? Why does this gun look like you've just silver or, like, steampunk spray-painted one of the guns from Mars Attacks? What is the point of this? What's the lore behind this thing? It's like when I was a kid and I was watching the Power Rangers movie, I wasn't like, why are there different actors? What are these crystals that he's dying on do? I just go, Power Rangers, yay. Because that's what it is. It's just, here are these things that look kind of cool for you to look at and go, oh man, wasn't it cool when that? But like, what is the fucking point of any of it?
I don't know.
Sorry, I had to go on that
Ivan Ooze
tangent.
is pretty cool.
Ivan Ooze is a fucking baller. I love him.
What was the thing I was gonna say? Shit, I had a thing in there. Oh no, I wanted to like the fact that we watch the director's cut and still like view it as like a PG-13 movie just like kind of points to like how pointless it is to do like those unrated cuts of movies like this, because it's just like, no, it's been tainted by the corporate touch, by being compromised down to a PG-13 in the first place. That is what it got made and like put out theatrically as and edited as, and now you are trying to like slap on these things to like bump it up to justify calling it unrated. Like, there's a single swear said in this movie. Like, that...
I cannot remember where it is.
That... The F-bomb they drop is, like, the only swear, right? Aside from, like, maybe an ass.
Yeah, you get one
No
cut.
idea.
But, like, it's just so clearly put in there as, like, a kind of, okay, we're able to say fucking
one.
here. Yeah. It's just... Oh, it's such a fucking mess. It's such a mess.
I like the one guy who's like in the jail who they clearly should have just followed his intuition because they're like, I always trust this guy. He says this is a bad idea.
Oh, you mean like the mute goon like guard?
Yeah.
Who's just kind he just kind of stands there and stares at everything like.
Yeah, he's like, he said Riddick's a bad idea. We shouldn't take him. I normally trust him.
He's got a good nose for things. You remember that one part of the prison where like Riddick kills a guy with a teacup, but it's like the least like for something that's supposed to be like gory and cool, like it is extremely not.
He kind of like suction
anyway.
twists the first like centimeter of the teacup's like outer ridge like onto his belly, and he collapses as if that killed him.
Yeah,
And I was a little confused as to like how did.
I think it's supposed to be more in the chest that he does it as opposed to the belly. Like it's supposed to be around the heart. Either way, it doesn't translate.
It
like
doesn't at all.
they tried to, obviously this is before John Wick, but they're trying to do like the John Wick kill you with a pencil type thing, and it's like when you're doing it with a teacup, it's a lot less effective. Like the thing about a pencil is like it's plausible that you could like hurt someone with this, but it's still like there's enough skepticism in there that you're like,
It doesn't matter the weapon. It'll kill.
However, when you pull it back to a teacup, it's just like, this is fucking stupid.
Yeah.
What is this shit?
He throws a teacup at him with his hand, just like, and it just kind of adheres to him, and he falls over. It's like, oh man, that was badass.
He did the thing where you like suck the air out of a cup on your face.
No,
and
that's
you're
what
like,
I'm saying. Like you just suck it like onto your belly, and it sticks there, and you go, guys, look, check it out, look at it, guys, look at this.
Can we talk about the one necromonger who like takes his helmet off and looks like Scott Steiner?
Oh yeah, that's the main guy, the main necromonger. He wears a chainmail coif like Scott Steiner.
Just couldn't stop thinking about Big Papa Pump every time he was on screen with that chainmail on.
Yeah, there is that one. Okay, there was that one necromonger, the Purifier, who is eventually revealed to be the same
races
as Riddick
Diesel,
and whatever. It doesn't fucking matter.
The Furians.
The Furians. So he's played by Linus Roche, and we have seen him before in one of the movies that we've already watched. He is Jeremiah Sand in Mandy.
Oh, the cult leader.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
From one cult to another.
Yeah.
Makes a good cult leader, you know? Just has a face.
Do you think anybody at the time like did a parody thing where that guy walks into the fire and it plays the Austin Powers clip of "I'm still alive"? Oh,
No.
YouTube wasn't
not.
around like it was today, like it is today. Back then,
It's not like now where we can just
Because-
play Dire Straits' Walk of Life at the
Damn
end of every
it!
movie.
You took my joke. I mean, the whole thing is before. What was it that you brought up doing? Oh, it was Deep Cover.
Oh, yeah.
Evie, that you brought up being like, you know, you can basically just set the ending scene of him in the graveyard with the kid to Walk of Life by Dire Straits, and it would work. And we tried it, and it was literally perfect.
It's
Yeah,
a
it's just
different
like-
movie entirely.
it's fucked up. Like we didn't even have to really sync it at all. Like
didn't.
we just played one clip after another, and it fits. It doesn't quite work as well for Riddick, but it's the same idea. It's pretty funny.
Anything that's supposed to have like a really epic or really heavy end scene, just stick that over it and it becomes the end of a rom-com. It's so great.
walking on
This sucks all the meaning out of it.
No, that's a different
It's a
walk.
different song.
A different song.
It's really fun. Try that if you haven't. Mute the video on one tab and then play the thing in the other.
Yeah, just
maybe
it's
the-
like Dark Side of the Moon.
Yeah.
Maybe the
Think
worst fight choreography that we've seen in a movie so far.
It's pretty bad.
Yeah.
Yep, it's pretty terrible.
There's a part where Was it Karl Urban that does the Psycho Crusher, or was it Lord Marshall that does the?
It was Karl Urban.
Yeah, he does a Psycho Crusher. He's the end SNK boss, where he has all the super moves. He can just chain.
That's not Karl Urban. That's Lord Marshall. That's yeah. Like right. He's literally like just like teleporting all over the room effectively.
Like, he can chain together all the supers. There's no, there's a reason why you keep that nobody plays the character, because he's kind of, he's a boss character. He can kind of do infinite.
Final boss energy. Just like stop fucking warping around.
Can we talk about the gross use of CGI zoom outs that this movie does?
Oh my god, the pan outs. I was
losing my fucking mind, because every time they do it, that they're thinking like, yeah, this scenery is so fucking cool, and you need to get like a vibe of like how serious the circumstances are, like especially like on the crematoria like venture as they're running across the planet's surface. Stay ahead of the light.
We gotta show the whole scene painting.
But like every single time they like have a, crane shot of them running over the scenery, and then it'll do like a bad CGI zoom out to show the set that they've mapped here. And it's just like, I hate this shit. Stop it.
And stop looking at me with them big old lenses.
I don't.
Oh man!
What else is there even to talk about?
There's some weird stuff with like the women in this movie. Like I remember like there's one like montage of like of like all of the mercs like strapping up, and like there's one intercut shot that is just the woman's tits.
That was a choice.
Remember when Riddick gets the final kill on M. Bison?
Yeah, stabs the knife in his head and breaks the hilt off.
and then the lady goes,
No. Yeah, Thandie Newton is crushed by it, because like that whole ending sequence is weird, because it like Riddick kills the Lord Marshal, and they mentioned this earlier in the movie. There's a whole thing with the necromongers where you keep what you kill, and so by killing the Lord Marshal, he becomes the new king of the necromongers. But at what cost? Because Jack/Kyra dies during the fight
by being impaled on just some installation art or something.
Yeah, just like some ugly furniture, and after she dies, Riddick slumps onto the throne, like
Conan style.
Yeah. They're clearly going for like a King Conan thing, but what if it sucked actually? And then that's the end of the movie.
Mixed with Dune.
Yeah,
like that's the thing. Is
the Diesel like... Gaib. Yes, I got it in there.
But like, I don't know. I don't know if there's anything else to talk about with this fucking movie.
Yeah, I don't think there is. Final thoughts, y'all?
Can't wait to watch Riddick 2013 with all of you.
I can wait a very long time for that. I guess, Evie, as you're the one who picked this, what are your final thoughts on this film?
The movie's bad. It was kind of funny in how bad it is. I'm glad I watched it because, like, curiosity sated. But otherwise, like, y'all, does anyone within the sound of my voice is wondering, should I watch the Chronicles of Riddick? No, you don't have to. You don't have to.
Yeah, it's a missable thing. Yeah.
If you watched it to prepare for this podcast, we apologize. In retrospect,
I don't apologize. You made that choice yourself. We did not.
No one asked you to watch it.
That's fair.
But I don't know what my.
I need to know my responsibility as an online influencer, though. There's a matter of like.
I don't know what my final thoughts are. I think mine are basically the same as Evie's. Just like you don't have to watch this movie. Like. Maybe if you watch it, don't make the mistake we did. Watch the theatrical cut. That way you save like 20 minutes of your time watching a bad movie.
The decisions that like a studio makes to like, PG-13ify and flatten the effect of a film does its damage, but like the one place they get it right is going, don't make it that long. When they say like, let's cut this down, they know at least to do that. They're right about that.
Bridget, what are your final thoughts on this film?
This was a fun movie. It was pretty dumb. As I said, I'd enjoy this movie a lot more if I could watch more of it and it didn't have a ton of flashing in it. Besides that, it was a dumb thing with terrible action. Like, congratulations. You got people who can't do fight choreography.
Yeah, how many cuts can you have for throwing 2 punches? Like,
it's not
record.
It's not quite climbing up the fence where it's like the 10 what is it, Taken?
I think it's Taken 2 or Taken 3 specifically.
Where it's like 50 cuts of just climbing up a fence. But yeah. If you do watch it, as I said, it has a lot of flashing in it, so...
Yes, be prepared for that during... Like, as soon as they talk about the necromongers approaching, just be prepared for the next 10 minutes, like 10 to 20 minutes, being a bunch of strobing effects.
Yeah.
Bree, as you're the next person to pick a movie, what are your final thoughts?
Well, Evie said it best when we were watching this. This is so fucking stupid. This whole movie is
she was so right for that.
No, she was. She's so valid, so real. This whole movie is a Babylon Zoo music video trying poorly to fuse with Star Wars and The Matrix. It's as much a teenage crisis of identity as it is a teenage power fantasy. It doesn't know what it wants to be because it's trying to be everything else, and it fails spectacularly. For that, I found it quite funny, and I do ultimately enjoy that we've gone through this together. Wouldn't have done it on my own, but getting through it with y'all was a hell of an experience. I decided to make a connection here with the ADR recordist for this movie, for Chronicles of Riddick, the sound recordist, he is the ADR recordist. His name is, there it is, Philip Rogers. Philip Rogers has worked on a lot of things, mostly doing sound recording and ADR recordist stuff, but where he did ADR for this, he did sound recording for a couple other things, which I'll tell you what I didn't pick. I found there is a connection in his sound recording. Philip Rogers did that for Cheech and Chong's next movie. Definitely a classic. I considered that one. I also considered bringing this to Weekend at Bernie's. Because I have a lot to say about that movie, but I'm not quite there yet. I decided, okay, this was goofy enough. I am actually going to pick a serious movie. I'm going to find something good for us for this. I decided, let's go with his sound recordist, Philip Rogers' sound recordist credit for Beavis and Butthead Do America.
Oh, god damn it. It's time for another cultural landmark. Okay.
I love virtual stupidity.
This is cool. This is gonna be
all right. Fire!
This is gonna be an episode that I'm like fully checked out of.
Everyone's on board but her. Oh my god.
Beavis and Butthead is just not my thing. Oh. That's the
welcome to the new year, folks, where Bridget reigns
picks
queen.
The best films.
Oh my god.
This is the year of Bridget.
Get looking for your connections, huh?
Anyway. I'm Bree.
Bree, where can people find you on the internet?
Hey everyone, my name is Bree. You can also know me as Breezy, the VTuber over on Easy Breezy TV, over on Twitch. That's EAZYBREEZY. TV. On Twitch, I'm a little cat girl android doing the video games. You can find my artwork. I've been getting a lot of artwork commissions. You need some artwork done. You need me to design and or rig a VTuber, get me some branding emotes. I got you. You can find me over at a Snesbo. That's at ASNESBO over on Blue Sky. or at vgen.co/snesbo. You can hire me there. A bunch of artwork, bunch of streaming. Find me being an idiot on the internet in those places.
Bridget, where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me at twitch.tv/Sasquatchulous, playing all sorts of things, like the water horse. If anybody knows how to beat level 3-2...
Somebody please tell me how to beat water horse.
Somebody help me. I can't figure out how to beat the water horse DS. It's the level where the water horse is in the fountain trying to eat fish. Please.
It was a real beaver.
My water horse is dying, please.
I will win your water horse race to gain access to your water horse women.
What an Eraserhead baby ass game where it's just little trash goblin.
Evie, where can people find you on the internet?
Nah.
Cool. You can find me on the internet. I'm not going to tell you where, but you can find the podcast anywhere major podcasts are sold. You can find us on Blue Sky at putonthelist.bsky.social. You can find our website, putonthelist.neocities.org. You can find us on YouTube, Wife City Productions on YouTube. Send us emails, wifecitygaming@gmail.com. Oh, Wealthy told me to promote the Discord, so I guess you could join our Discord if you want to.
We used to be a gaming channel, but we're still here.
I'll put the link in the show description if you so desire to join our community of little freaks.
We do be some little freaks.
But until then, Beavis and Butthead do America.
Yeah.
Goodbye, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Is this a community full of that little guy from Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust?
What reviews connected by cast or crew, deciding the next film, that's the gist. Put it on the list.
Before we get into it, Bridget's dad has entered the room, so we'll hold off for a moment. It's time for the Eevee Minute.
I started. It got you starting to play the 100 line made me want to play a tactics thing. But like I have the problem where it's just like I want to play a tactics thing, but I don't know what tactics thing to play, and so I don't actually ever play anything. I did install XCOM 2 because Bridget has been working on modded XCOM 2 streams, and I haven't played it yet. But I've installed it, so maybe I'll play it soon.
Evie's gonna be my wing girl, because I played the original XCOM.
Your swing wing girl.
It's
not the original.
It's a swing wing.
The remake, what reboot of XCOM that they did in the 2000s, the first one.
But before we get
Not
into
the third-person shooter that was announced first, and then the tactics one did much better than that shitty third-person one. The Bureau is what it was called.
Stop! I'm trying to create a smooth edit for myself, and you're fucking it up.
So I see you have dismounted. You have respect for your elders. That's very considerate indeed.